Hey guys, I'm going to be commentating a round I recently played at the Scrapyard in Idlewild Park in Matthews, North Carolina near Charlotte. This is a practice round for an A tier coming up here pretty soon. So just going to see what I can learn from it mechanically and with, shot and disc selection. So hole one's a little 260-foot par 3. Goes over there to the right. So right here I went with a star eagle on the forehand. I think the forehand's the right play. I kind of just released that on like a little bit of Anheuser, maybe got it off axis a little bit. I don't know. It felt pretty smooth, but just definitely pushed it, turned it over a bit, and just pushed it straight, so it never got to fade to near the basket. So I think the correction to make there might actually be in the disc. If I go with my neutron fireball, which is like a Firebird, it would definitely fade over and get over to the basket. So I think that'll be the correction I'll try to make in the future, as well as if that eagle, that shot could have been executed better by not pushing it straight down the left. If I throw it on a hard slight hyzer and try to push it here, it would, certainly have faded towards the basket better. All right, so moving on to the putt. I got a long 40-footer. First long putt of the day, or first putt of the day. So I've been working on getting a little more spin on my putts, a little more, like I'm actually throwing it to the basket instead of kind of pushing it. Right here, just don't get enough on it, never enough height, never enough power. So first part of the day, not going to be too upset about it, but would like to do a little better in the future, at least get some metal. So still not with a par, that's a-okay for the first hole. Okay, hole 2, this was like a 340-foot par 3. It's just straight with some trees, baskets there on the left. I'm going to go with an Atomic Kahoo XG by RPM Discs. So this is like their distance driver. It's like a 13.5 -1.3. So basically like a typical destroyer nuke kind of deal. The XG stands for extra glide though. So this is kind of like a pop top Kahoo. It's a little domier, so it's got a little extra glide and a little extra turn on it. So I'm trying to push it out on a straight flight with, on a slight hyzer, stand up a touch, and then fade at the basket at the end. Hopefully, to end up with a putt. So you'll see here, this is going to be a common thing throughout the round. My reach back right here, I'm just reaching back deep, and offline. So my arm, I think ideally, my line's pretty straight how I'm trying to throw this disc. So my arm should almost be parallel, like with this side of the tee pad, but I'm certainly reaching back across, which just ends up in a rounded throw. So it's like I'm reaching back deep, and then that's causing me to round it off, when I come through. And the result of that is me getting this disc flat and turned over onto the right. So I still end up lucky. I think I catch a little bit of stuff and just fade out there in the middle of the fairway. So I'm still okay with the disc selection, just need to work on that execution. Need to work on the backhand reach back and pull through, getting it on a straight line. So that's going to be a common theme throughout the round. You're going to hear me say that a lot. Right here, little upshot. I think it's inside 100 feet maybe. Going with a pig. What I want to do is basically put it up here and just let it fade at the basket. In terms of ground play, I'm not thinking I'm not really worried about a roll away here. However, with as high as I'm throwing it, maybe I should have been. Perhaps just a flat backhand with like a throwing putter, or even a jump putt. Like I reckon I probably could have got a jump putt inside 20 feet maybe. I can't really remember exactly how far out I was. So anyway, but maybe some kind of backhand or jump putt would have matched the slope better and reduced chance of a roll away. So that's something for me to think about and consider. However, let's say going with this shot, trying to put the pig up here, just let it fade at the basket. Just let it out early. Don't really get myself to, put it on the point I wanted. So I don't think there's a lot to be said. Just need to execute that better and really commit to, say, when I'm thinking about this mentally, really envisioning this shot in my head, envision the disc flying right up here and falling on the basket, and then matching that when I throw it. Because this time just came out early, never got myself to commit and match the line that I wanted to throw it on. End up with a some odd 20-ish footer, slight downhill. First, inside the circle putt of the day, or, between that 20-30 foot range. So just trying to, put it at the band and let it fall in. Pretty much nail it. So happy with that, save par. Hole 3 is a little par 3. I think this was like around 270, 280, 280 feet. So basket's over here on the left. I'm going with the Z Raptor. I'm trying to put it here, relatively flat. This Raptor is not very overstable. It's very straight for a Raptor. So I'm kind of trying to put it here and just let it fade to the basket. Should have the right distance and everything on it. Pretty simple shot, just a stock backhand. All right, so that's just high and right. And I think, that can be attributed to my reach back. I'm not kidding. I need to look and compare myself and see if this reach back is low as well, because I think when I bring it through, I think it's close to my low chest. Yeah. Yeah, so on my pull through, I think it's in line with my lower chest, but I think because my throw is rounded, right, I'm reaching back and pulling through in a rounded motion. I'll get this a lot where I just release the disc high and right. And it's okay on this hole, but I end up paying for it because it just chews off some distance, right? The extra 30 feet I needed on this, I would have gotten if I had released it, a little bit flatter and a little bit lower where I wanted it. Because now I end up with this putt, which isn't, it's not like the longest putt in the world, but it's a circle's edge kind of deal. So I'm just thinking about, I had a good last putt, so I'm just trying to put this one up around the top right corner of the basket and let it fade in. Never really got the height or speed on it to get it there. I put it like on the line I wanted. I wanted to pretty much put it on the right of the basket. Maybe I'm a bit outside right. And also sometimes I've been releasing these putts nose down, so that could be a thing where at this distance I need to give it a little bit more reach back and then pull through. I feel like in the past sometimes when I putt, maybe the disc was falling out of my hand. So a thing I've been thinking about recently is really trying to spin it and throw it like I'm throwing a disc to someone instead of trying to toss it like a bag or something. Anyway, so I'll try to improve on putting for the rest of the round. That's also just something, just got to get the reps in the garage and at practice baskets. Just getting the putts nailed down. So not much here, just a little par putt. Okay, here we go. This one's like a 460-foot par 4. We're going to go left and then straight. So it's kind of like a slight S. So I'm just trying to throw a Raptor and just match the fairway, put it about right here and let it fade. Nope. So I think that was a little bit of an overcorrection. Last tee, I had put it up high and right. So this one, I end up just releasing left, a bit early maybe. And this is another thing I'm just going to probably attribute to needing to work on that, getting a straight reach back and pull through. Not much to do here besides try to pitch out. I took like a stable mid-range and tried to throw it on Annie to ride up the fairway a little bit. Ended up fading out on me early. So the correction there would have been to go with a slightly less stable mid-range. I threw a method, maybe like throw my buzz, or throw it lower or more angle, so that way it, make sure to get up here. I'm not sure if I think, I was thinking that would get me more distance than like a jump putt out. But either way, it was a pitch out and wasn't, did the job, I suppose. I ended up over here on the right, though, so I did kind of pinch myself off, because with this shape of shot, like a forehand makes sense, just straight forehand with a little bit of fade on the end. But now I've put myself in a position with this tree on my right where I have to go with like a turnover backhand. I will go ahead and note on disc selection. I think I can make a correction. So right here I'm going to go with a hatchet, which is like, an understable 9-speed. I have discs in my bag, these RPM Waka Wakas, which are like a 5.6 -1.0. Like they're just a really glidey, slightly understable mid-range. So I would have to throw those less hard, and they would match this shot shape very well. They'd probably glide all the way to inside the circle, most likely. Even at this distance, like those discs will just glide for days. Like I could probably easily get them to, 280, which would be in front of the circle or something like that from here. So I think the disc selection here could have been better. End up bringing this one out flat and turned over, kind of like my tee shot on number 2 with that Kahoo, where Just that, you know, the rounded throw I think is doing me a lot of damage so far this round. Because then I'm just coming out low and turned over, hit the ground, cut roll to the left. And now I'm left with this kind of upshot. Have to go with a forehand. Going with a star stud, it's just a point and shoot putter. Not much to it. End up wobbling it a bit, turning it over. Was going to be okay, I think, and caught a root and kind of got a, you know, a little bounce. So I need to throw that a bit smoother and on, like, you know, a bit of tighter spin. I just wobble it a bit and turn it over, which I think, you know, is what killed me there. So I got a long putt, just trying to put it up in that, you know, towards the top right of the basket. Let it fade in. Put that one over. I had been missing putts. The long putts I had earlier, I've missed low. So kind of just overcorrected a bit, I guess. I think it just went right over the left, the top left. Yeah, I just sailed it over, it looks like. So not much to say around there. Just need to get the reps in with putting. Little putt for double bogey. Made that one cool. Oh, I skipped. Oh, crap. Yeah, this is it. Okay. Hole... Where are we on now? Hole 5? 2, 3, 4. Yeah, hole 5. This is like a 280-foot hole. You'll see here in a second. Yeah, here's a better look at it. So this one's like 280 feet, 270 maybe. Basket's right here in the middle, some trees. It's more open on the left than the right, so I'm going to go with a forehand. I'm going to try to forehand that Raptor just down the left side, let it fade into the basket. It's kind of all I'm thinking right now. So trying to see the line, match it when I throw. Wobbled it a little bit of Annie. That's what I'm talking about. For a Raptor, it's not a very stable Raptor. Because it never came out of this, and that's attributed to me wobbling it a bit, I reckon, and also coming out on a little bit of Annie, I guess. Yeah, I think I got it out mostly flat, and then that wobble just got it over on me, and just never could come out of that. So I went up with this long bid. Don't think I had I had to forehand it just because of the trees in front of me, so gave it the height, not expecting to hit that. Would have been unexpected, you know, if I did end up with a little putt for par. Don't know how long it was, but right in the middle, so that's good. Par save. Okay, next hole. Hole 6. I think that's what you see it right there. It's 250 feet. It's going to go down and to the right. This right turn right here is way too early for me to get a forehand to work. If I was throwing a forehand here to get it all the way over there, I feel like I'd have to throw something on a hyzer hard that would kind of push straight, you know, and fade. Maybe I could do it. I'd probably need to practice that and, you know, get familiar with that kind of shot shape on a forehand to see if I can do it. But I know I can do it on a backhand turnover. So I'm going to go with the ESP Meteor. Just thinking about putting it right here on the angle such it'll ride right over. Pretty much nail it. Maybe threw it a bit low. Like I wanted to get a little bit higher so that way it would come in softer maybe. But pretty much nailed the line I was looking at almost. That actually ended up being a bit long, so maybe in the future, you know, a bit higher, maybe it'll come in softer. Or even going with, I've got like a DX stud. It's just like a beat up, you know, throwing putter. Maybe even going with that to take a little speed off. Or exploring that forehand, getting out here and practicing a forehand on this hole to try that out. So again, I was just thinking about making sure I gave the disc enough height, and just gave it too much height. So again, that was a long putt. Would have been good to make, and I think it's a putt that I can make, but didn't have it that time. So just a little par putt for, or no, yeah, that's a par putt. And off we go. Sorry, I'm trying to find my next clip. Here we are. I think this would be hole 7. So this hole, you kind of see on the side, it's going to do like a little S-curve again. It's going to go right and then straight and then fade back a little bit at the end of the basket. Man, this hole is probably about 500 feet, I think. Let me check. Where are we on? Hole 7? Yeah, 500 feet, right about that. So I'm just trying to throw the Raptor on a forehand, just about right here, relatively flat. Let it fade out, just follow the fairway. Yep, just like that. I think I about nailed what I was thinking in my head there. Look at my forehand form real quick. I'm not really putting a lot into my forehands. It's still, it's probably one of the parts of my game that I've been working on developing the most this year and has probably improved the most alongside, even though I've missed a bunch of putts so far this round. Well, they've been long putts, but forehand has improved a good bit. So I think one thing that I'm thinking about is that, so my arm angle, it's almost greater than 90. Like, it looks like a greater than 90-degree angle, and I'm leaning over a bit. Yeah, I had a little bit of lean there, and the arm's not too straight. One thing I'm thinking about is, yeah, I'm pretty well leaned over there. Do I get my elbow tucked? My elbow's a little bit out from my body on that throw. Anyway, so one thing I've been thinking about is being a little bit more leaned over and getting my elbow a little bit more bent, and then make sure to tuck it in on a throw. But that one was pretty good. Real happy with that. Okay, so next throw, I would like, so in the future I'll try to make sure to get over a little bit more to the right, because the basket's back here on the left. So now I'm kind of, if I was right here, I could throw something, maybe even like a flip up with a fade, but being over here is a bit more of like, curve to it. Instead of throwing straight with fade, I have to throw either straight with more fade or some kind of really push a hyzer deep that'll then fade in. So still, relatively the same shot, but I think I'm probably, well, if it's a 500-foot hole, that forehand was probably 240, 50 feet. So I'm probably 250 out. So I picked, man, it looked like I was further than that. So I'm going with a Halo Heimberg Destroyer, because it's like a glidey Firebird to me, right? If I threw my Fireball, I don't know that I get it all the way back there, but this disc I know is super stable and it's a little bit more glidey. So I feel like I can push it and then it'll fade and skip hard to try to get over. And also if I throw this ante or too flat, I know it'll come out of it. And just release it a bit late, get it off to the right instead of hitting the gap. So that was another miss that I think probably is attributed to me needing to do some field work with the backhand and work on getting that straight reach back and pull through. So right here, I'm going with a Cosmic Neutron. I don't know. It's a Drift, which is like, it's a Leopard 3. Imagine this disc is a Leopard 3. It's a Cosmic Neutron Drift by Streamline Discs. Boom. There, I didn't have much to work with there. I think I had like a 4-foot gap or something. So let me think about that. I think at this point, I need to get to the basket, try to save par. And I feel like I probably should have hit the gap. So I'm not sure here if I should fault myself for the shot selection or for the execution. Because a different shot selection could be something like a frickin' roller or a thumber or a forehand pitch out or something. Maybe a forehand just to make sure I get out the gap. But I didn't really feel like I would end up with a good chance at a putt. Maybe I couldn't throw a forehand because all the trees and stuff. So I don't think I'm going to fault myself on the shot selection too much here. I think I was choosing the right thing. It's an understable disc, that's kind of glidey, so I wouldn't have to throw it too hard. However, also maybe I could have tried to go with a mid, like those P-Waka. Like I've got those P-Waka Wakas, which are those slightly understable, real glidey mids. So I probably need to start trying to use those more because they'll just glide forever and get all the distance I need. And I don't have to throw them as hard. So maybe that's a correction I can make with the shot selection. With the execution, I just didn't hit my line. It looks like I threw it a bit high. Didn't hit the gap I needed to hit. So I think the correction there is, getting out and doing some backhand field work and recording myself in the field work to and comparing to people that do have good backhands and try to figure out, work on fixing those mechanics so I can hit my lines and angles better. All right, I'm in the middle. Basket's back here. So I need to throw something kind of down this gap with a slight finish left. Going to go with the ESP Buzz. I've got to be 230. I feel like I'm over 200 feet, maybe 250, because I felt like I needed a rip on that Buzz for some reason. Again, I'll pretty much hit my line. I think I just turned it over a bit. Man, just big old kick right. I kicked right kind of behind that pile of woods back here. Or this, man, I'm not like drastic. I'm relatively anxious about yellow jackets and stuff like that, especially in these wood piles and off the beaten path. I'm pretty weary, or I'm on the lookout for insects and stinging things. So probably could have taken a little more time with that, but just try to throw a stud out with what I could manage, and cut that one tree right there. Just end up pitching up. So in a tournament, I'd like to think I'll take my time with that, maybe execute the shot better. But anyway, at this point, it was a pitch up and took the triple, which it happens. We'll see if we can move on and improve in the next holes as soon as as soon as I can find the dang clip. Here we are, next hole, hole 8. Great hole, little over the water shot, right on 200 feet. It's right in front of you. I'm going to go with the star stud. I do have a rhino in the bag, which I think would be an appropriate disc for this distance. The stud will go just a little bit farther, but I'm choosing that because I know I want to get it over the water. So I'm just going to put it, up here and just let it fade. And I'm able to execute it pretty well. Yep, ended up going a bit deep. I kind of thought it would, but that's okay. I think I'd rather have that than be in the water. And there's enough room between the basket and water to where I'm not terribly worried about, the putt after. So, let's see here. My apologies. I'm having a little bit of trouble finding which clip I'm on. Okay, here we go. So here's my putt. I'm honestly not thinking about it going in the water at all. There's a good bit of land there, and I trust myself. I'm not. This was not a anxious putt, I don't think at all. I was fully confident in this putt. Just released it nose down. So I do that. That's been one thing I've been struggling with a little bit, is releasing these putts nose down. If I have that nose angle just a little bit up, I think that putt goes in. But anyway. Oh, this was the long... Okay, so this is hole 9. This is actually the long pad for hole 9. The short pad's way over here, and I didn't know if there was a short pad or not, so I wanted to go ahead and throw this just in case, so I didn't have to, walk back. So I grab a Star Valkyrie. It's not a disc I throw a lot, and I actually grabbed it here because if I lost it, I wouldn't really care. But I'm just kind of aiming it right here and just trying to get it over the water, basically. Yeah, I threw it high, but luckily it's understable, slightly understable, so it stood up a bit and carried over. It actually ended up okay. Let's see, I threw it high. Man, I look like I'm reaching back real low. Do I get it to my chest on the... So probably reaching back low and across. Look at this. Look at this stance, dude. I tend to back into my throws. You know what I mean? Like my heels are at the target, and my toes are pointed backwards, so my hips are turned early, right? And then right here, it's like my hips are already. So that's another thing I need to work on is, I'm backing into my throws on this kind of line, right? Which kind of probably attributes to my reach back being like that too. So I need to work on keeping my feet, perpendicular, like at a 90-degree angle. As well as my reach back. And then right here, I'm planning with my toe kind of forward. I'd want that to be a little more inwards, and then work on pivoting off the heel, which I do. So there's some footwork to be corrected, and then also that'll probably help with getting the straight reach back. And also I need to look into whether this feel like I'm reaching back low a bit.
Oh, it's so high.
Okay. So here's the short pad. What's our distance? Hole 9, 203 feet. So a little 203 foot shot. It's kind of awkward because it shapes for a forehand, but forehand into this hill doesn't seem good. So I'm actually going to try to go with a turnover backhand and just get it right here and let it fade to the basket or turn towards the basket. So this is a DX stud. It's just a little beat up, base plastic throwing putter. So it turns over a little bit for me. It's a nice disc. There's that high right release again. So just gotta go hit the field work and do some work with some footage on my backhand and try to make improvements. Okay, so here's a little putt. I don't know if this is probably 25 feet or something. I'm not sure. For birdie, nose down. Same thing as the last putt, man. I'm right on line, and if I get that nose angle correct, then it's good. Almost had it on the second try. Did I get it? Yeah, it's a cleaner release. Like I feel like I'm have a good amount of spin and everything on it or whatever, but just that nose down. So I think like one thing Ricky talks about is imagining, and this is something someone had told him, but would be like imagining that you have a board in front of you that's up high, and then there's a board a little bit further back that's low, right? You got to putt under this board. So right in front of you, it's got to start low, go up above your target, and then fall into your target by the time it gets in there. So I think my problem with the nose down is that I'm never letting it kind of glide. Anyway, I'm just putting nose down, and I got to work on that. Okay, so that was the front 9. I get kind of talkative after this, and I think on the back 9 I just start talking a lot.